Hi, this is Matt. On today's tech tip, we're in a 2026 Northern Light 10.2 with our lithium package. We're going to do a troubleshooting video. We're going to go over things like what to do if the battery goes completely empty, how to get it charging again, what to do if one of the devices becomes disconnected from the power track display, and what to do if when we're charging, we're tripping a breaker connected to a house or at a campsite. We want to do a demonstration of what will happen if you run your batteries down to completely empty. In this case here, we have only 3 amp hours available in our battery bank, and our batteries have put themselves to sleep. So plugging into shore power to charge to the inverter charger may not actually get a charge. We'll go through the steps of what to do if that occurs. To start, we're going to remove our cushions and our bench lid to get to the battery compartment. Go for it. Looking in the center where our battery cutout is, we can see that we have 2 flashing green LED lights. This indicates that the batteries are in sleep mode. To wake them up, simply press one of the buttons, holding it down for 3 seconds. Both lights should turn solid. It doesn't matter which battery light you do push. Now that we have solid lights, we're going to go outside, plug into shore power. For now, we've left our battery disconnect switch off. We're going to plug into shore power to allow our inverter charger to wake up. Then we'll come back inside and turn the battery switch back to on. I don't think you need me plugging it in. We've removed our cushions and our bench lid. We're going to go have a look and verify that our batteries are in sleep mode. Having a look down at the battery cutout, we can see that both the green LED lights for each battery is flashing. This does indicate that they are asleep. To wake them up, we're simply going to hold down one of the buttons for 3 seconds. It doesn't matter which button we do hold down. Both lights will indicate solid green now that they're woken up. The next step is for us to get the inverter charger woken up. We're going to leave our battery switch in the off position. We're going to go outside, plug into shore power, let the inverter charger come online, and then we're going to turn our battery switch on. Then we should be getting a charge to fill up these batteries. We're plugged into shore power now. Our battery switch is still off. We can see from our battery monitor, based on the very low and negative amperage, that our batteries are not charging. To make them charge, we need to turn on the battery switch. We're going to do that now. Now that the battery switch is turned on, it may take a couple seconds, but if we look back at our battery monitor, we are now charging at a rate of 100 amps. Now that the camper is charging, we recommend just leaving it until the batteries are completely full. At a 100 amp charge rate, it's going to take about 6 hours. If you are leaving your camper for a prolonged period of time in storage, we recommend charging the battery bank completely and then leaving the camper with the battery switch turned off. This will prevent the inverter staying on and depleting the battery over time. We're going to do a demonstration on what to do if one of the devices, that being either the batteries, the inverter charger, or the solar charge controller, loses connectivity to the display. In this case, we've simulated that there's been a loss of networking to the solar charge controller. We can verify that it's not connected by going to the power track display and going into the settings menu. You can see here that our battery, our inverter settings, and even our charger settings are all lit up in white, but our solar is grayed out and we're not able to select it. If this occurs, the first thing to try to do is a screen reset. To do this, go back to the main display so that we can see the gear icon in the top right. On any of the menus, simply hold down the gear icon, and it's going to give us the option of doing a restart of the device. We're going to hit yes. The power track display is then going to shut off, boot back up, and look for all the devices on the network. We should see 3 line items. They'll take a second to load, but we should see the battery, the inverter charger, and the MPPT charge controller. The screen is now searching, and we see that we have all 3 of those line items. It will then give us a prompt telling us that the devices are ready to load. We can hit load, and now we have our solar controller menu back available to us along with the settings. If that doesn't bring the device back online on the display, contact us by email at info@northern-light.com. We're now going to do a demonstration of what the effects are of changing the shore power size that we set up in the PowerTrack display. From the factory, we set this at 15 amps, as this is the most common receptacle size that someone's going to be plugging a camper into at their home. What can happen if you are plugged into your receptacle that's, say, in your driveway, and your garage door opens, with that amperage draw and the camper trying to take all that 15 amps to charge the batteries, could result in the breaker in your home being tripped. We're going to show what the effect of changing that shore breaker size does to the charging amperage in case you need to do that. If we look at our display right now, while we're set to the 15 amp shore breaker size, we're charging our battery just around at 100 amps. It's going to take about 6 hours for our battery to fully charge. If we were tripping our breaker, what we would do is we would go into the settings and we would go into the charger settings menu. We would scroll down to shore breaker size. And in this example, let's change it down to 5 amps. You'll note that changing it to 5 amps won't necessarily change the max charge current. Those are independent fields, but this shore breaker size will override what the right charging current will be. If we go back now to our battery monitor, we'll see that we've cut our charging rate in more than half. We're now charging at about 44 amps. So you may need to play with this if you are having an issue tripping a breaker at home, or if you're trying to charge the camper off a small portable generator. The PowerTrack display also has the ability to work on your phone, and you can see all the information associated with the PowerTrack display, the inverter charger and the solar and the batteries. That's also the way that you can check to see if there are firmware updates for any of Dometic's gear. We recommend checking that regularly. For instructions on how to do the firmware updates and for how to use the app, on our website we have guides posted.